What's up? Bradley Aidan Johnson, and I wanted to do a video on the fallacy of linear progression. Linear progression is the idea of a practical straight line of progression that is able to be achieved by novices. It's often the thing that attributed to people that start a brand new weightlifting or in any physical endeavor, that they will linearly improve at doing it over time across the axis there, and improvement and ability going up there, and they will improve like that. Eventually they won't, and the idea being novice programs are generally written with linear progression in mind up to a point that they can no longer progress in that way, and when they stop progressing linearly, they are deemed as being no longer novice and need more complicated intermediate training protocols. The problem with linear progression is, and this was first hinted at by Izzy at powerliftingtowin.com, and Powerlifting to Win, the YouTube channel. Fantastic programmer, excellent lifter, fantastic YouTube. Remind me if I don't to put a link to his stuff here. And his program formed the basis for the program that I developed afterwards. But I felt he didn't go far enough with his ideas. And his idea originally was linear progression doesn't actually exist. What it is it's more of a curve, more of a continuum, in that when somebody starts training, they will make amazingly fast adaptations, and those adaptations will diminish in returns instantly. So the first time you train, you'll make a massive adaptation, become massively stronger. The next time, you'll get stronger as well, but not as much stronger as you got the first time. And every time you train, you'll get stronger, but not as quickly as the time before that. So the weight that you add on the bar will improve, but the rate at which it improves will decrease. So instead of it being a linear progression line, it's more of a linear progression curve. So you should plot your training protocols to allow for that curvature. Yes, I agree. However, I go to the point of, in my programming, of saying that progression curve will eventually be so slim that people won't be able to necessarily detect it workout to workout or week to week or even month to month, but they're still existing upon that that continuum of improving based on the same training protocols, and don't actually need more complex training protocols. What I'm basically saying is, at no point is it ever linear, so it definitely doesn't exist, but it shouldn't be tracked workout to workout, day to day, week to week, or even month to month. It should be tracked quarter to quarter, or even slightly less frequently than that. I'm effectively just reiterating, because this video is on the fact there's going to be videos afterwards on false understanding, false reading, false positives on stools. But for this one, I just wanted to basically agree with Izzy on this one, in that there's no such thing as linear progression. It's never linear. It's never a straight line. It's never even anything that approximates a straight line. It goes like this and curves and tails off. The problem being, when you assess it as a line, you expect it to keep going as a line, and that will never happen. That won't happen. That will stop about, if your training is anything like decent, about 3 or 4 weeks into your training, you'll realize it's not a line anymore, and your training will stall because of it. If you accept it to be a curve that you think will always keep getting better in a way in which you can perceive, that will last a little bit longer. But again, you will still be a novice at the time when you start introducing more complex training protocols that you didn't actually need, that aren't benefiting you, but just because you can't detect the fact that it's still going up even though it's staying fairly horizontal. So linear progression is effectively a lie and a fallacy, because you will never be able to match the adaptation that you get from your first workout or the workout before. Every time you train, you will get stronger at a slower rate than the time you trained before. That's the hard reality of training. It doesn't mean stop training, it just means that it's what you get for what you put in will always be less than the first time. Fantastic for you people that have never trained before in your life. Unfortunate for those people that have been training 10 years. It's why drugs exist, to try and kickstart that adaptation process in people that have reached a limit with how much it will go, to try and force the body to make adaptations that it isn't really willing to make, because your body doesn't want you to become as big as a house. You don't work very well. It's a waste of energy. It makes you more likely to die if you just became super duper strong. So that's basically the fallacy of linear progression. Just want to do a video on that. That's quick. Hopefully it made sense. Peace.